Well, good day, viewers. Today we're working on a GarageMan's Companion. I believe it's a 15, but it could be a 17. It's a 2500 HD crew cab, and it's got some nasty messages. Check engine light is on, this little picture of the DPF light, and a message about speed reduction, service exhaust fluid system. So it was here a few days ago, and there was a laundry list of codes in it. The customer just purchased this a few weeks ago, and we weren't sure what was history and what was current, so we cleared everything out. So we're going to rescan it now and see what's returned. It was good for a couple of days, and we've got this message up on the screen. So here is the scan from February 27th. Got a P029B, P029BB, P248A, P029CB, P1016, all having to do with the reductant circuits. So I've got the scan tool connected to it now, and we're going to rescan it and see what's going on, see what's came back. It's only got 184,000 kilometers on it. It's a 2017, so I'm going to do a network code scan and see what comes up. This takes several seconds. Oh, laundry list again. Fuel pump flow performance. That's an interesting code. That was a new code. We didn't have that code before. Reductant heater 1 control, reductant heater performance, reductant heater control circuit low voltage. So all four of these codes are related to the reductant heater 1. So I think we'll be pulling the shield off. I noticed lots of gravel and sand up above that shield on the reductant tank. But this is a new code. I don't think we had this 2635. Let's look in the history here. I have to pull up the previous scan because it's writing to this scan report right now. 2635. Okay, I give up. No, there was no 2635. But we did have a U code prior that's not back. 1016. These are all related. Alright, let's do some research. And a visual. So after clearing the codes, this P02B9 code, the reductant heater 1 control circuit, has returned immediately. So we're going to focus on that one. But to get at this heater system, we're going to have to put it up on the hoist and remove the covers under the tank on the passenger side. There it is up on the hoist. In order to get enough room to remove this cover over here, you have to pick it up with the hoist pads on this lift point here and at the frame at the back. You can see there's a lot of sand and gravel up above this thing, so I'm sure that well, I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that we have a compromised wire. I'll take this shield off. We'll have a look underneath there. To take the plastic shield off the outside, I think there's a bit of sand stuck in here. Yeah, just a bit. This truck's going to get better gas mileage after. I had to let the hoist down to get the plastic shield out because it wouldn't come out from here. So let's see where the fasteners are. I got the ones on the inside of the frame. I guess the ones at the bottom of the strap here. Yeah. I'm going to clean some sand out of here so I can get some penetrating fluid on these bolts. Good thing this thing is fairly new. So the other shield comes off, and there's a ton of mud up here. I imagine this is the module. Wow, this is horrible. Well, we're going to get some, that's the pump, the wiring harness. Wow. I'm going to get in here with a compressed air. Well, I blew it off somewhat, but I'm going to pressure wash it. Got a little bit of mud from there. We'll put this outside and then we'll pressure wash the tank off and then find the reductant heater. So the service information suggests that the reductant heater number 1 is open or failed, and the procedure says to command it with the scan tool, to command it on, and you should see 1 to 15 amps. So I'm going to try that right now. I got the key on. I got a battery charger connected to it, going to functional tests, output controls, and hopefully it's got reductant heater 1. There it is. Can only be activated for up to 60 seconds. Continue. Then we want to watch the current flow on the heater. I believe I did this the other day and it was working, so it could be an intermittent wiring problem. I got to find reductant heater in here. Reductant heater current. It may not be in this data list. Snap on. We need the ability to search the data list. Let's change the list. Look at all the different data lists. Reductant system data. And hopefully we got reductant heater number 1, reductant heater 2 request, reductant heater command, and then the current flow. Reductant heater 1 request, and reductant heater 1 current in amps. Okay, so we're going to watch the amperage when you command it on. There goes. 8 amps. So the system is working, and it only commands it on for about 60 seconds. So we're going to have to find this release control. We're going to find this reductant heater and check the wiring to it. So here's the criteria for setting the code P029B. The ECM indicates the reductant tank heater control circuit is open for greater than 5 seconds. Okay, so we'll have to find that and look at the wiring to it. Well, according to the service information, the reductant tank heater is integral to the reductant pump and sensor assembly. So I'm going to do a visual inspection of the wiring and see if I can see anything obvious. So I don't see anything physically wrong with the wiring, but I'm going to disconnect it at the reductant module and test the heater circuit through the wiring harness to the actual pump assembly. Pins 4 and 11, a black and white wire. We're going to measure resistance on it and wiggle the wires and see if we can see any change. So that's the connector on their module. It's 20 pins, and they're not all used, I don't believe, but the tank heater ground is pin 4 and the power supply is pin 11, which is a white wire according to this. 11, tank heater supply. So we're going to disconnect it there. I'm going to turn the key off because I'm going to generate a bunch of codes if I have the key on and I unplug it. So I disconnected connector 2 at the reductant module, and I'm across pin 11 and 4. You can see the pins, the white wire and the black wire. And I'm reading about 2.5 ohms, but if I move the wiring at the module, you can see as I move it, lift it up, it goes open. And all I'm doing is moving this right here like this. Now it's okay. Oh, there it goes again. So there's a compromised terminal right in here. So I'm going to take this harness down and have a look at it. So the heater wires are the 2 outboard ones by the looks of it. Now I'm going to open this up and see if I can see what's wrong with it. So I opened up the loom here and I see what appears to be a splice in the wire. move it, it doesn't change the resistance though. Oh yeah, there it goes. Well, let's clean this off. It's full of sand. Wow. Full of sand. See if I can find a compromised wire. I'm pretty sure, no, this white wire is the heater wire. Can't see anything physically wrong. I'm going to try to isolate it. So I remove the entire harness to inspect those pins in there, and they look pristine. You can actually take this little harness off. So I'm going to check continuity of wire end to end, see if I can isolate the break or the pin that's compromised. So I've disassembled the harness. I cut the loom off of it, peeled the tape off, rinsed it off in hot water, blew it all dry. And now I'm checking continuity of pin 11 to pin 4 over there, or pin 11 over there and pin 4 over here. And the white wire to the white wire there, and I can't find any compromised terminals. I wiggled the connection, so the only thing I can think of was poor pin grip on this terminal in here, in the top left-hand corner here. So I'm going to use a diamond file on those terminals and put some Stabilitin 22A on it, retape this harness up, and repeat the test. So I got the harness reconnected, but if I manipulate the harness, as you can see, there's got to be a break in that pin, because it's not in the harness, because I've checked the harness as best I can, wiggled the connections. So this thing needs a pump heater assembly. Well, we'll price it out. A closer examination of the two pins in the bottom left. One on the outside and the second one in. Those are the two heater circuit pins, and you can see the burn marks on those pins. So I suspect the terminal is compromised on the inside of the circuit, because if I wiggle the terminals up and down, it goes open. So this definitely needs a pump assembly. Well, it's back together with the original part, so I know it's going to fail again. I just wanted to try this reductant heater command again. So it draws upwards of 8 amps. I could see that terminal failing. It's a pretty small terminal for 8 amps of current flow. It's working now, but I suspect with vibration, when it's on, it probably fails. It did go to 0 there. It says you can only command it on for 60 seconds, but that wasn't 60 seconds. Let's try it again. Reductant heater 1. Continue. Now I'll have to load the other data list, because it's not in this data list. I got the reductant system data. Snap-on, you should get your lists right. Wait for that data list to load. And here is the current. And command it on. Okay. Well, I'm going to check on Monday with the dealer and find out what that part is worth. I can't imagine it being too cheap. I'm also going to check to see if there's any TSBs on it in case there's a recall or a policy adjustment for it. That's it for now. I'll post a follow-up video when I replace the heater assembly. So here's a case on Identifix. Basically it says to command it on, which I did, but the problem is intermittent, and it says if the amperage was out of range, to disconnect the connector and connect an ohm meter between pins 11 and 9 of the reductant system pump and sensor assembly. There should be 1 to 2 ohms. Well, I did it at the reductant module and checked the harness. 1 to 2 ohms it said. Well, when it was good, it was like 1.5. It should say wiggle the harness and terminals to see if there's any dropouts or changes in the resistance. If it falls outside of that range, to replace the system pump assembly, pump and sensor assembly. So there's some cases on it, but there's no TSBs on it that I can find. But I'll check with the dealer on Monday.